the finale of this series. We are now after post-show of the Detroit Pro and the Tri-City State Pro. And I wanted to kind of give everyone a rundown of what happened, how everything transpired, how we're feeling about it.
Plans after.
Yeah. And she's also, 6.5 weeks out now? Mm-hmm. So we're both on prep. We're both going through it in a good way, not a bad way.
Yeah, we'll talk about like how we've been doing that, because we get a lot of messages with people saying, oh, you guys are both in prep. I bet you guys are at each other's necks, and we're actually not.
Yeah, we went top golf for putt-putt.
Putt-putt. We
went putt-putt yesterday, and we had a blast. It's just about mitigating life and mitigating hunger and understanding that you're both in a state of, prep. So you gotta...
Yeah, and I think it's actually, we'll talk about it more, but I think it's a lot easier to prep with someone than it is rather than him not be on prep and me be on prep, or vice versa.
I agree.
So, we both can't eat together, so...
we'll get into more detail.
Yeah.
So we got the Detroit Pro. We went to the Detroit Pro first, which was, we're aiming to do the Indy Super Show initially. So this was a way early on show. We didn't have any expectations for that. We had two big names going into it, Matt Grego and Wes DeVissers as well. So I didn't go into it saying, I'm going to win the show, but I definitely went in there as a first, thinking that I had the best package to win that first place, and that hopefully it'd be judged appropriately to get the appropriate results. Did that happen? No. We ended up third, and I heard a lot, hey, you should have won the show. I'm going to be completely transparent about how I feel and what I think the judging looked like, even if potentially the federation or the organization does not like that. I feel like if that's the case, then other people that placed above me should also be judged with the same parameters. If your lower half does not look as good as your upper half, you should probably not be winning the show, getting second, or placing above me. My lower half, in my opinion, is not bigger than my upper. I think I have a good flow, and I think it works well, and I'm proud of my lower half. Are we going to put attention more to the upper half? Absolutely, because the feedback was...
grow the upper half.
So that's what we're going to be doing. However, I do not believe that it was necessarily not biased on either shows. What are your thoughts on that? How did you think? You being in the audience and watching it live, right? This is not, I was on stage, so maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. But she's in the audience. She has a decent understanding of how things, work, so.
I like to think that judging is fair always. And a lot of times I believe it is. Like, I feel like a lot of my shows, the shows I've done, I've been judged fairly. I know you may feel a little differently because you're my husband and coach, but, the first comment was that your legs are outsizing your upper body. And although that may be very slightly true, what are you going to do when someone's upper body is significantly larger than their lower body, and then rewarding them with a higher placing than you? And I think Matt Grego looked great, and I think Wesley looked great as well. But and don't get us wrong, we're extremely happy with third place. It's a huge accomplishment and a very big show.
Absolutely.
We won money, which is the biggest thing because these shows are expensive.
Money is what matters. No, I'm not saying it this way, but it helps to keep you going.
Yeah, shows are expensive. Yes. The food, the drugs, the travel, the stay, all of the above. It's a lot, but do I definitely think he should have at least been awarded second? Absolutely.
Not even that. At least compare me with those two guys.
Yes.
Because I can tell you this: no one out-conditioned me, no one outsized me at those shows, and I'm proud of that. And I know we did that. So to me, I already won that. That's already a medal in my pocket, and that's what I'm happy about. That was the biggest focus. Be better than last time. Bring a package that's undeniable, and we did just that. Again, props to those guys, amazing people. This is not a sport that you control. It's not by points. It's not by... So it's not up to them what placing they get. It's up to the judges what they like that day. Maybe that day I was not what they preferred, and that's completely fine. But looking at it from a technical perspective, as a bodybuilder, I was the leanest, I was the biggest, and my presentation was on point. So to me, I'm very pleased with what we brought. I'm happy, and we're moving on to bigger goals. We went to Tri-City as well.
Well, and I was going to say, not to forget that, during this prep, during the Olympia prep, Danny's last showing in 2023, he had a different coach for the very first time.
Yep.
but we didn't really get to have a season with that coach. We just went into another prep when we already had a bad relationship with food, burnt out from prep, and just a lot of things needed to be fixed. And then we took the time off and we grew appropriately. We reestablished a significantly better relationship with food, mental health, and all of those things.
Absolutely.
And so the Detroit Pro, regardless of his placing, was a huge win for us. The best package to date. His improvement with mental and food and all of that has significantly helped me and all of his clients improve their relationship as well. And I mean, it's just been a big win. But to what you were saying, next step was Tri-City.
Yeah, so the next step was the Tri-City. I will put a side note here because of what you mentioned. I switched coaches and we did a whole prep together, 21, 22 weeks. That's not enough time for someone to collect data and accurately prep you for another show. You need time as a transitioning into a new coach for that person to learn your body, the coach to learn your body, make appropriate assessments, see what's working for you digestively, mentally, physically, in all those aspects. Chemically, before you go into another prep. So for the Olympia, yes, we switched, but I didn't have any expectations because there was already another whole off season that needed to be taken for us to collect the data we needed for us to have an appropriate prep. This is what we did this time around, and this is the results we got, which is nearly 10 pounds heavier and way more conditioned than the Olympia showing. So for everybody that's out there looking into coaches, understand that it doesn't, within 3 months, that's nothing. You're working with the coach to see results. If it's a fat loss phase, you'll see some fat loss coming off, but that's not enough for you to gauge if that's the person you're gonna be working with long-term or not. That's just the beginning, the collection data area or time frame.
So coach hopping, you should not do it. Find someone that works well for you and stick with them.
Yeah.
And pay your dues, put in the time.
If you see red flags initially, like using a bunch of drugs and very, very bad approaches, obviously get out of there as soon as you can.
Yeah, not looking at labs regularly.
Yeah.
Say sayonara.
I like that. Say sayonara.
Sayonara.
I haven't heard that phrase in a long time.
Like knee slapper.
So the next step was Tri-City. I went into that show demanding my first place, right? I had no doubt in my head that this was going to happen. And Eric, who placed first, is a friend of mine. We've competed together at nationals. I've known him from the amateur league all the way till now. And I do believe I brought a better package. The show was just the way it was. However, I do believe Eric's package, even the third place finisher, Dimitri, amazing freaking athletes, man. Saquon, he got fourth or fifth, I believe.
At his pro debut.
Crazy looking, man.
Yeah.
So can you be mad at that? No. Even if I felt like I was more conditioned, if I felt like I was bigger, which obviously I was because Eric is shorter, so he cannot be as heavy as I am. I definitely believe like these people earned their placings, and I'm super happy for them. But it's my dang time. So we're coming back again in what now? Less than 6 weeks.
Less than 6 weeks.
6 weeks or 5 weeks and 6 days. We're going to be going to the Optimum. That was my first. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, but you were gonna steal my thunder. That's where Danny did his pro debut in 2023 or 2022. A week after he turned pro, and he got top 5 at his very first pro show.
I placed 5th on my first pro show. So there's a lot of sentimental value to that show. I am aiming to win that show, and that would mean so much to me to qualify from a show that I stepped on stage the first time as a pro and got 5th, and now moving up to first place.
And not to mention, the Optimum Classic puts on a great production. They give all the pros a +1, VIP seating. They make it very nice and exquisite. They have tables for the VIPs. Yes. It's like a nice candlelit dinner. Like it's laid out very well. The production is great, the lighting, so we're really excited.
They honor the athletes and the audience. Optimum Classic does amazing as well, and I'm looking forward to step on stage there. And then we're looking at Oklahoma Pro a couple weeks after, or a week after. I don't remember exactly where it's at.
I think it's a couple weeks after.
A couple weeks after. Because Sam is stepping on stage a week after the Optimum Classic. So I'm stepping on stage, Optimum Classic, week after. Sammy is doing Junior USAs. We're going to be giving the pro card another shot, and I'm super confident. in her ability to get this pro card because today you hit
A new low.
and you were not even that low on stage or the lowest of your last prep.
Yeah, the lowest of my last prep was 116.8, and today I was 115.6. So we don't have there's not a set weight we want me to be, but ideally I'd say around 112, 111. And my feedback for figure was to come more peeled. My feedback for wellness was to grow a little more. So I'm still going to do both categories. We're focusing more on figure. Last time was more on wellness because I just have a physique that's better for figure. And as much as I want to keep fighting it, I'm just going to go with it and enjoy it and fight for my card.
The approach here is also this. You have a very short window as an athlete because let's be honest, bodybuilding requires enhancements. It requires a very strenuous amount of time in a deficit, which you only have so many times you can do that. So with her, could we push wellness and potentially be a decent pro in wellness? Absolutely. But that would take an absorbent amount of time that would not be beneficial or fun for you because at that point where you're going to make it as a pro, you'll be like, I'm freaking tired of competing, right? But as a figure competitor, you are very, very blessed in growing your upper body very easily, which benefits your figure. So that's the reason why we're taking that approach, and because the only feedback wasn't really size, it was conditioning, which we came in softer because we were focusing on wellness last time. Regardless, last time at NPC Nationals, you were one place away from your pro card, or 2 places away from your pro card. First ever national show in the biggest national stage of the year, or I would say internationally,
Yeah.
because that show is where you'll see all the best amateurs stepping on stage. And see, go ahead.
But even though I was very happy with my placing, Danny did that show his very first national and got 5th, so I did better than him.
She did.
And then a few months later, he did Junior USA's,
Which is the same exact route she's taking.
Yep. Which he secured overall in bodybuilding and overall in classic.
Yes.
So my goal is to I would love my pro card in both. That'd be really cool. But definitely earning at least 1 pro card, and it'll be very sentimental for us.
As a coach and as a husband, all I want her to do is coming better. And I know eventually she'll be rewarded. And I definitely have very high hopes for Junior USA's.
Me too.
I have very high hopes and faith that this is where it's going to be happening.
I felt like for nationals in December, like I was telling Danny that, like, this is so much fun. I just want to have fun. And he said the other day, he said it perfectly. He's like, now you're angry. He's like, now you want it. And I just feel like I felt motivated for my last prep for nationals, but I feel like there's a fire under my ass. Like, I feel like it's crazy. I'm terrified because I'm like, I just need to do more. I need to do better. And I'm constantly thinking that. And it's a good mindset to have because I'm hustling harder than I've ever hustled in my life. And I feel like it's my time.
Yeah. And let's talk about that mindset switch.
Yeah.
Because, like, I feel like I had that this prep, and it's just gotten worse and worse from show to show because you keep getting, like, it's almost like whenever you're starving and someone says, hey, here's a burger, smell it, right? And then the first time you're like, okay, I'm good. I'll smell it and I'm good to go. The second time they're like, hey, lick it. Lick the burger, taste it, but you cannot eat it, right?
I'm trying to figure out where this is going.
No, I'm just saying, like, that's how close you get to getting that first place finish. But it just,
I'm like, you said burger, and I'm like...
You just keep teasing me with the first place and not giving it to me, you know? And you just get angrier. There's no other emotion that I can actually... There's no drive. The drive, I had that a long time ago. Whenever I'm hungry, whenever I'm tired, I just keep going. It's not discipline. It's not motivation. It's anger, right? It's pure emotion. It's an emotional state that you don't get out of, and it can turn toxic if you let it. But for us, we try to use that as a very, very good motivator to keep going, right? Like for her, the first time she got down to 160, she was like, whoa, I'm lean, I'm freaking peeled, I have glute striations, this is it. She steps on stage, she looks freaking incredible. But to me, how I seen it, I was like, this is the first real showing you have. Because the first show you did, you just kind of did it to see how you like it. This time around, we did it to put effort and impress and place. We did just that, and you placed really well. It was basically your 3rd show because you did 2 shows back to back your first time you competed. So you did a third show to lead up into your nationals as a warm up, and your showings in both shows the second time around were freaking phenomenal. We couldn't be more pleased than that. But now we have a purpose. Now we need to get that pro card. So
Yes.
that feeling, that emotion is building up, and it's unexplainable because people will ask you, isn't this hard? Like 70 minutes of cardio, 80 minutes of cardio, 1,600 calories. That's for me. For her, how long have you gone so
I'm
far?
just at 14.
14.
Yeah.
But again, she's 6 weeks out. But when people ask those things, is it hard? I am so much hungrier to succeed than I am
Yes.
to eat food that it doesn't, I want to be hungrier physically.
Like, it almost makes me mad when people are like, oh, I bet you wish you could just have a bite. And I'm like, no, I want to win. I don't give a dang about a bite. I don't give a dang about going to a birthday party and missing out on cake. Like, the sacrifice right now is way more worth it to me for what's to come. Like, and that's why they say, if bodybuilding was easy, everyone would do it. You know what I mean? And I feel like these past preps, especially for both of us, have really taught us how to be a better champion by embracing when we don't get what we want
Yes.
and going even harder.
Yes.
Like, the losses, the disappointment make you want to do better and be stronger. And I think, you know, even us as athletes and clients a lot of times are like, it's their first show, and although you want to go out with a bang and do this impressive thing, like, your first show, you're not gonna be this pro. You haven't learned all the things you need to understand, the struggles, the sacrifice. Like, you need to go through it to really appreciate the win. And I think that's why we feel so confident with me about this showing now, is that in a way, I've done my time. Like,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you did skin in the game. I'm a pro, and I'm not winning just going into the first show ever, like, or first show of the year, right? You have to. I'm also like creating my stamp as a pro as I'm growing in the sport. Same thing with her. You have to climb up the ranks as an amateur. Then once you turn pro, you have to climb up those ranks, whether that's politics or that whatever you want to call it. You just got to keep coming back. Whenever you don't place what you want, use that as fuel to do better next time and become undeniable. Every time when they compare those pictures, they should be like, dang, this guy just keeps freaking getting better. This girl just keeps getting amazing, like, from show to show. Because tell you what, they will look at those previous show pictures as much as you don't think they will. And if there's no improvement and you keep on bringing up the same package, unless someone is looking, you know, less than what you do that day, you're not winning.
And it's been a lot of growth in our mindset too. Like, I remember my very first show, I'd be like, oh, I wonder when I'm going to get a refeed. I wonder when I'm going to get a refeed.
Right.
And like, now Danny's like, a couple weeks ago, he was like, hey, I think I'm going to give you a refeed. And I was like, I don't want a refeed. He's like, no, you actually need a refeed. And I was like, no, I want to win. He's like, yeah, but I need to fuel you. But it's crazy because I'm not even thinking about food. I'm not even wondering, hey, when are you going to give me sushi? When are you going to give me this? Like, give me more work. Let me hustle harder. Let me push more so I can feel more accomplished.
Yeah. She's not thinking about when is the next refeed. She's thinking when is the next shift in conditioning.
Yeah.
It's two different mindsets, and I have this happen all the time. I have people that want to do the shotgun preps just because they want to get, you know, ready fast for shows like 12 weeks, 10 weeks. And then they complain at the end and they're like, when am I eating this? When am I eating that? It's a completely wrong mindset. And it's not sustainable.
And if that's your mindset, you probably shouldn't be doing a prep. You're not ready. You're not ready.
Now, you know, plus, whenever I'm able to take her through another growth phase and she's going in reverse after the show, she's not going to be the individual that I have to hold back from food, right? Because she has that mindset being locked in. We're going to be able to reverse properly. We're going to be able, it's a whole process. It's not just getting ready for the show. When you make it all about the show, that's when you lose the eyesight of what really matters. Another thing I want to talk about is chemicals we use this prep, right? So for me, there was no tren involved. Shocker, right? I'm sure a bunch of you out there are always using 2 grams of tren. There's no way his glutes look like that without tren. Yeah, there was no tren. We used Test, Mastron, and Primo, and we used a GLP-1 to help with appetite suppressant for you as well. How do you feel about that? How do you feel like it's worked for you so far?
I feel like it's good. We haven't used it for many weeks, but we've used it for a few now. And at first, it was honestly a little bit challenging to get my food down.
which is a good thing during prep.
I really wasn't having a problem with hunger prior to it, but we are using it to help ensure that I don't have a problem with hunger leading into prep, but then also we want to utilize it post-show so that when we are slowly reintroducing higher calories, I don't feel the need to binge. The food that I'm eating satisfies me, and then slowly wean off of it. It's not something we want to be on long term.
No.
It's very short term.
Has a purpose.
It has a purpose.
For the time that is being used. And essentially, another thing is it shuts down or down regulates, I guess, ghrelin production, which is the hormone that prevents you from starving to death through hunger. So when we down regulate that, you stop being as food focused. So it's not just about the hunger only. It's about being focused on food and having those cravings. When you don't have to focus on that and you can focus on prep, you become more productive on prep. For people that are saying that, hey, you're not a real bodybuilder using the GLP-1, stop using steroids then. See how that goes. Because unfortunately, or not unfortunately, but the reality is in bodybuilding, we use everything we can to bring the best look ever. Diuretics included, androgens included, GLP-1s, synthol, all kinds of things. So using the GLP-1, that's most likely one of the lowest risk things you can use. I don't see it being problematic or putting you in a category of someone that is cheating or is not a real bodybuilder. I just feel like a lot of people are not familiar with it. It's very safe, low risk, and you can use it especially the last phases of prep. 6-5 weeks out, whenever you're really, really getting hungry and you're really digging towards those last phases, I think it has an application. And again, very conservative with your androgens. We're not using anything crazy at all. TRT basically, a little sprinkle of something else on there. And I'm not gonna talk about that because that's her business to talk about. And for me, again, no tren, and for everyone that's thinking that you have to use tren as a cutter, that's not how anabolics work whatsoever, right? They're anabolics. They'll help you put on tissue, lose body fat. It depends on your work, how you execute on a daily basis, if you're gonna see the results or not. And again, you don't have to be extreme with them. Whenever you're prepping, you're aiming to maintain muscle mass. You're not aiming to gain tissue, so abusing gear is not gonna bring results.
No, I mean, being enhanced, like, you will still put on muscle in your prep, but it is going to be very minimal. All of your muscle gain is going to be an improvement season, but like Danny said, it's mostly to maintain. Yes, you're going to be maybe 1%, but nothing that's going to blow you out of the water.
Beginning stages of prep, you can still add tissue, but this is from research as well, private or not private, personal research with clients. We've applied DEXA scans under the same environment with increasing deficits and higher cardio. You will lose some tissue. That's undeniable, but it's most likely nitrogen retention or even water retention, glycogen retention in the muscle. So essentially you're aiming to retain muscle tissue as much as possible during those last final stages of 6, 5, 4 weeks out, you know. Another thing I want to talk about is our relationship and our marriage during prep. How do you feel like we did initially on our first preps, you know, with our relationship versus now after being mature as athletes? Because that's what she was talking about earlier.
Maturing as an athlete.
You have to build up athlete maturity, right? Understanding what matters and what doesn't.
So I think this will probably be like my 7th or 8th actual prep, but I've only had 2 real competition seasons because multiple reasons, but I would get like 4 to 6 weeks out and I'd pull out all the time. And we had prepped together, and our first prep together was, I would say, probably a little challenging.
Yeah.
Just because you don't know what to expect. Everyone's first prep is really hard. It's probably the hardest one. You don't know what to expect. Your family, your friends don't know what to expect.
Absolutely.
You're hungry. You don't know how to deal with it. You don't know how to deal with brain fog. Like, it's a lot of emotion. So, I mean, it wasn't easy for us, but, you know, we definitely weren't at each other's necks. And then every time we seemed to prep the same time, it got easier and easier. And now, like, I love nothing more than when we're in the same season, when we're growing both together, when we're leaning out both together, because it's so much easier when both of our lives are on the same page. Hey, you know, I did my first session of cardio. I got to go back tonight for another one. Oh, great. I got to get steps, so I'll join you. Like, it just brings us closer together at this point. We're eating the same food.
Yeah.
I love it. Our marriage has grown even closer and matured because of preps as well.
You go together, you go through the trenches together, you go through the high times together. And like she said, I love prepping with Sam. She's my partner in everything. And whenever I'm competing, she's there for me. Whenever she's competing, I'm there for her. We understand that, yeah, I'm hungry, I'm on prep. But right now, I have to be her support if she's stepping on stage. She has to be my support if I'm stepping on stage, you know? And if that means she has to get 2 extra hours of sleep so she can support me that day, that's fine. You know, I'll make sure that the environment is quiet so she can get that done. It's working with each other, back and forth all day long.
Yeah.
That's what marriage is. And if you cannot go through a prep together, maybe you're not supposed to be together. Like, unfortunately, this is how I see marriage, this is how I see relationships. If you cannot go through hard times together and you can only experience fun times together, maybe that's not who you need to be with. Because life is hard. There's gonna be hardship. If you don't have a partner there to support you during hardship and go through it with them, probably just a person that is a good friend and you're just having fun with, cool, keep them as that. But
if you can prep together, you can probably
we see this all the time. Like, even with just business hardship, like we own, you know, the coaching business, the gym business. You work for also your actual job, your full-time job, and we own a remodeling business before in the past together. Mm-hmm. She's been my partner in every business we've owned together, right? So having that support whenever things are looking rough, oh dang, with the remodeling job, we haven't had a remodel in like 2 weeks, right? And the bank account looks kind of thin. When you have a partner there to say, hey, we're gonna be fine, I'm here for you, let's put more ads out, let's do this, let's do that, let's work together to find how we can elevate this versus what we're gonna do. You're not making any money.
Yeah.
How is this gonna work? It's gonna work if we make it work. To be completely transparent and honest, I was not looking to turn pro because prior to me going into bodybuilding, I was working construction and time was thin, money was thin, everything was thin, right? But Sam was like, hey, I think you should really pursue this. I think you're really good at it. You coach, 5, 6 people and you're doing great with it. And I think this is something that you really flourish in. And that's when I started putting more time into it, more effort into it, pouring into it, becoming enhanced, doing the things that I need to do, checking off those boxes on a daily basis. And now look at where we're at. So having a good partner can keep you from being a professional athlete that's successful in the fitness industry to staying into a construction role.
Or not even like fitness. I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day,
just
having a supportive and amazing partner who is going to support you through everything, be there and do it all with you is going to help you accomplish all your dreams that you've ever desired because you have the backup.
Yeah. It's a game changer.
Yeah. I will say the other good thing about doing our seasons together is from a libido aspect.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, so good thing here is that, an improvement season, you're typically running androgens a little bit higher.
Yeah.
And sex drives a little bit higher.
You have food in your system, so you're not
You're
food
feeling
driven.
good. You have sleep. You're not lethargic. You're not on 90 minutes of cardio,
Yeah.
And so you want to have the hanky-panky. You want to do the thing. And when one of you is in prep, the other one's not, and someone has a high sex drive and the other person doesn't, it does create a strain on your marriage because having that sexual interaction is part of a marriage.
Yeah.
And so it's nice in a sense that both of us are kind of tired right now and we're just kind of like,
Yeah.
hey, you wanna? Yeah. Nah, I'm a little tired. Okay, me too. Versus, improvement season, it's different.
I do feel like if the one partner is going through prep and the other is not, and you don't get to have that connection as often as before, the person that's not in prep is going to feel like it's unwanted.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if you are going through prep and your partner is not, the one that's not going through prep, understanding the state of mind that the other one is in. Because yes, we've prepped together every season so far, but I was going through recovery from surgery when you were prepping for the first show and whenever I took you to your first show. The dynamic was a lot different. I needed help and she was depleted because I'm having both my nipples open because I was having gyno surgery, right? So it's, again, working together, understanding each other, loving each other, pouring into each other. So when you don't have those indications of loving each other and pouring into each other, that's a red flag that you probably need to look at in a relationship perspective. And we'll probably make other videos talking about more relationship stuff. But what do you think?
Well, I was going to say as a side note too, I know a lot of other coaches have experienced this where they take on an athlete who their family, their significant other has no idea about bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Maybe it's their first show. And that individual's, going through the prep, they're going through the trenches, they're tired, they're hungry, they're all these things. And they're probably not being nearly as intimate with their significant other as they used to be. And then their significant other, we start hearing these complaints about they're so jealous, they're this, they're asking me how long I'm at the gym, they're asking me if I'm seeing someone at the gym. And it all stems from they don't understand that you're tired to have physical intimacy right now. You're hungry, you're going through the trenches. And that's what Danny said, is that like, even if one of us is on prep and the other one's not, we understand and we can relate. And so, hey, if you don't want to have the hanky-panky with me tonight, I get it.
Yeah.
You're freaking tired. You're doing all this cardio. You're on this many calories. But, unfortunately, a lot of the clients that we see go through that, it's because they're significant other.
People we know. Like,
people we know, too.
Yeah, like other bodybuilders that will message me and are like, hey, man, how do you deal with this? I don't deal with it because we know how to communicate. If I'm feeling insecure because we're not having the hanky-panky very often, expressing that to her and her being like, hey, this is the reason why, but I would like to watch a movie with you and hang out. That is understanding that it's not you and it's just the situation, the circumstance, and we have to work with that circumstance together.
And it's not forever.
It's a game changer.
It's a prep. It's not forever.
Think about it like this. If you're poor and homeless, you're not going to be thinking about hanky-panky. You're thinking about where you're going to be sleeping tonight, right? So you have to understand that having a partner to work with through those hard times is way more important than you having the hanky-panky, right? Like that, it's just like preg. It just puts your mind in a different perspective.
Yeah.
That's why we don't think about food, because we're thinking about winning. That's why you're not offended whenever things like low libido happen, whenever it's going through prep, because you're there to support your partner and love them, and you're seeing the greatness they can achieve, right? So that's why a lot of people ask, like, how do you do coaching? We coach accumulatively, like 60 to 70 clients? And on Saturdays when I'm competing, because I don't have check-ins on Saturdays, but from what you've seen, do I communicate or shut down with my clients?
Oh no, it's like crazy. Like even at Tri-City, he had a consultation the day before, like shortly after he got his tan. On Friday, he had a consultation, and the guy was like, oh man, thank you for your time. When are you stepping on stage next? And Danny's like, oh, tomorrow, in 12 hours. And he's like, what are you doing having a consultation with me? And he's like, well, this is my job. I do this for a living. Like, why would I not respond to clients? Why would I not have a consultation? Why would I not work on updates? Like, in between prejudging and finals, he was doing client updates for his clients on prep. And
that were late. Took care of everybody on Friday, but some people decided to be late. If you're watching this and you're my client and you're late, please stop that bullcrap. I don't like it.
And a lot of when we have consults with existing athletes, we'll ask, what is your previous experience with the coach, and all of that to get an understanding. And they're like, well, my coach also competed, but the last 6 to 8 weeks, he basically disappeared, lack of communication. I wouldn't get updates for 2 to 3 days after I checked in on time. Like, that's unacceptable.
No, yeah.
Like, they're paying you to do this, and you choose to coach and compete at the same time.
Yeah.
So I get you're tired, I get you're hungry, and I get all these things, but you still have athletes who are paying you to do your job, and sending them updates days later, especially if they're weeks out, is unacceptable.
Yeah. We have more than 10 people competing every year. You cannot afford to miss a beat. You have to be there for your clients.
We have way more than 10 people competing.
Yeah, this year we have nearly 20, right? Yeah. But at the same time, I'm just saying, if you're a coach and you have 10 people competing a year minimum, you have to, like, the coach under us that we have is Saeed. He has 15 people currently? He does not miss a beat, and he only has 15 people. Not all of them are competing. Even if they check in late, he's there for them because he understands and loves his job. If you're doing coaching for money, you probably shouldn't be doing coaching, and that's when you start seeing people not responding, being late, because they're not enjoying what they're doing. I want to be there for my people, and I want to make sure that they're not doing anything that they're not supposed to because out of lack of knowledge, right? So if you're asking me a question on my show day, I want to respond to you so you don't mess up. Hey, I don't have this machine in my gym. My gym doesn't have seated leg curl because it broke yesterday. What can I replace it with?
Yeah.
I'll send you a quick text back. I can send you a voice note. You don't have to ignore your clients, and clients don't have to feel like they're bothering. Yeah, you shouldn't be feeling like a burden. Now, if you're asking your coach if you can have pizza, yeah, you probably should not be asking that. Just follow the plan. But yeah, going back to our experience and how everything went. This has been the most wonderful prep I've had, both for her and me. Like, back to your first national show in December 2024. That was an exceptional prep for her, and she had a great time with it. This is the second prep we're going together as husband, coach, and wife, you know, and it's going phenomenal.
And we do have we have a big goal that we would like to achieve this year. So when I go pro at Junior USA's, there is a pro show shortly after.
Yes.
That we're not going to name, but they have classic physique.
And
they have figure. And we've not ever competed together. It's been something we've always wanted to do.
Yes.
And hey, I would love to go to the Olympia, but I know that I'm a smaller figure girl compared to the other pros. I get that. So this is going to be for fun, and it's close to home, and it's going to be...
We're going in with the mindset that we're winning, okay? We're going to bring the best package possible.
We are going to bring the best package. But
and that's the mindset I go with any of my shows, the one that I won and I qualified for the Olympia, and the ones that I got second and third place in. But the whole purpose behind that is finishing the whole race together.
Yeah.
Right? We get to see each other on stage finishing the race. But we never get
backstage
to be
together.
Yeah, but we don't get to be pumping up together, stepping on stage, watching everything happen live. So this is going to be super exciting.
Yeah.
And if it does happen, we'll have Xavier that's shooting this video be there and actually record everything so we can watch it, because we're both going to be backstage.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a wonderful time. I did want to mention. I forgot. I don't know what it is. You'll probably cut it out. Yeah, prep break. But yeah, I don't know if there's anything else we want to cover. I wanted to basically give a recap. There's going to be footage in here of our shows, both of us. Mm-hmm. So people can, in the comments, let us know what you think about our physiques. Let us know what you think.
No.
Yeah, I want to hear it. I want to hear it all. Right? Again, feedback was my legs are too big. We're going to put focus on my upper body. Although I really love how the flow of my physique is, and I like that my legs are the strong point, because honestly, I do believe a lot of classic guys have really small legs. I'm not talking about anybody specific. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. So, but yeah, let us know more about what you want to hear about. We're going to be also going to the Optimum, so I'm going to be recording some things about that leading up to that show. We're now a little less than 5 weeks out or 6 weeks out. So I'm probably going to be doing a weekly video like we did for the Detroit and for the Tri-City. We are traveling the crap ton right now, so I'm trying to get as much content out as possible of our experiences. But yeah, comment, like, subscribe, everything, all the YouTubes and Instagrams, on the shorts as well. You guys let us know what you want to see, what you want to ask, and we love to bring out more content and talk about our experience as bodybuilders, as a married fitness couple, and as gym owners.
Yeah.
Peace.